Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Easy Learn. And today's topic is the sine rule, within which we're going to be looking at some question today. It's practice time. If you haven't watched my sine rule explanation video yet, pause right here, check the link in the description below, go understand the concept first, and then come back for solving. So today's question is, this is a triangle ABC and it says work out the perimeter of the triangle ABC, give your answer to three significant figures. So to begin with, it is important that you know that perimeter of a triangle is equal to the sum of all sides. And sum basically means that you add all the sides. That's what sum means, which means that this side that's AC, this side that's AB, and this one that's BC need to be added. So just to sum it up, AB plus BC plus AC. So if I add all these three, I'm going to be getting my perimeter. Now for that, first thing is that I have one of the sides, but I do not have the other two, which means I got to find the both of them. And in order to find the both of them, as you can see, I have two angles available and one of the side is missing. So one of the side is available and two sides are missing. So if I consider two lengths and two angles, and that means I'm going to be using the sine rule, and the sine rule says sine capital A over small a equals sine capital B over small b. So if I'm taking my capital A as 105, then the length right opposite to that is my small a. And if I'm taking my angle 48 degrees as my sine B, so the length right opposite to that is going to be my small b. And it doesn't really matter what letters are mentioned to you in place of your angles. Like this one is a B and this one is a C. So do not get confused that we're talking about A and we're talking about B. Why are we taking B and C? It doesn't really matter what the letters are. The thing that matters is basically which angle you're taking, whichever angle you're taking, and the length right opposite to that you're taking. These two things are important, and it doesn't matter if it's a B or an X or a Y on the triangle. Whichever letter is there doesn't really matter. So since I have 105 over a 13.1, and that is going to be equal to a sine 48 over the B. So if I just write that down, so sine 105 over 13.1 is equal to sine 48 over the b, or I could just say the length AB. Now, if I want to solve it, first of all, if there is an unknown value in the denominator, it's just best practice to get rid of the denominators, take them to the other sides so that it's easier to solve and you just don't get confused in the end. So if AB here is in division, when it goes to the other side, it turns into multiplication. Similarly, 13.1 is in division with the sine 105, so when it goes to the other side, it turns into multiplication. So then when I write stuff down, it's going to be something like this. AB sine 105 is going to be equal to 13.1 times sine 48. Now, first thing, I'm going to be solving 13.1 times sine 48. When I do that, first of all, it's important that you set your calculator on degrees unless and until they ask you to give your answer in radians. So first thing, put it on degrees, and then I'm going to be writing sine 48 times 13.1, or vice versa, 13.1 times sine 48. That gives me something like this, 9.73519, and so on. So it's always best practice to, while you're solving, while you're still doing the problem, it's just better to take either 3 to 4 decimal places instead of rounding off to maybe one or two. You do that in the end when you're done with the problem, but when you're solving it meanwhile, just do it till 3 to 4 decimal places. So AB sine 105 is going to be equal to this answer, that is 9.3 oh 9.735 and probably 2. Now if I want to find my AB, for finding my AB, I need to isolate the AB or make AB the subject. And for that, whatever is attached with the AB goes to the other side, which means sine 105 goes to the other side. And because sine 105 is in multiplication with the AB, when it goes to the other side, its states change and it becomes division. So when I take this to the other side, it's going to be 9.7352 divided by sine 105. Now again, if you do that on your calculator, you get something like this. 9.7352 divided by sine 105. Make sure your calculator is set on degrees, and the answer I get is 10.0786 and so on, which I could just round it off to 10.1. So my AB is equal to 10.1 centimeter. So I'm just going to be simply writing down 10.1 centimeter here. So this is the length I have got for AB. This is the length I already have for AC. And now I need my BC. Now, if I want to find my length BC, because again, coming back to the original question that says perimeter of the triangle, and perimeter is AB plus BC plus AC. So for that, I now need my BC. And for finding my BC, if this is my BC, let's suppose if I rename it as Y, and if I want to take the angle that's right opposite to BC, or my length y, why do I need to do that? Because as you know, sine A upon A equals sine B upon B. So whichever length are you're taking, the angle that's right opposite to that also need to be taken, which means that I need to find my angle A first. Now how would I find my angle A? Again, keeping in mind that in a triangle, the three angles are always equal to 180 degrees. Now, if that is the case, then this 105 and the 48, and if we add this third angle, that's angle A, it's all going to end up in a 180, which if you reverse it means that if I add 105 and a 48 and I subtract them from 180, it's going to give me the angle A. So if I write down 180 minus 105 plus a 48, then it's supposed to be giving me the angle A. And the angle A, let's check on the calculator. So 180 minus 105 plus a 48 gives me a 27, which means my angle A is 27 degrees. So I have this angle now, which means that now if I want to find my BC, I simply have my angle that's right opposite to that, which is 27, and I have the other two angles, that's 105 and also a 48. I also have my lengths 13.1 and 10.1. Now it's completely your wish which one are you trying to take. First thing, again, we're going to be using the sine rule, and it's completely our wish which one are we taking as our sine A and which one we're taking as our sine B. One of them is pretty obvious that we have to take the 27. So sine 27 over the y, or just the length BC, and that is equal to, now either I could take sine 105 over 13.1, or I could take sine 48 over 10.1. I'm just going to go ahead with 105 and 13.1 because that was the length and angle already given to me, so it's kind of safe to go ahead with numbers or with values that are already given to you, instead of doing those that you found. Like 10.1, we found it, so maybe it is wrong. Like if you're solving an examination, maybe that first part of your problem is wrong. So if you take that one, then even the second part becomes wrong. So it's always better, and it's always best practice that if questions are connected to each other, just try as much you can to take the values that are already given to you instead of using those that you found. So I'm going to be taking sine 105, and sine 105 divided by 13.1. Again, considering the fact that we have to get rid of the denominators and make them a single equation, BC goes there, turns into multiplication, 13.1 goes there, turns into multiplication, and I'll be doing sine 27 times 13.1 first, which gives me, again, make sure your calculator is set on degrees, and then sine 27 times 13.1 gives me something like 5.947. So if I write that down, and let me just do 5.9473 equals BC sine 105. And now, since I want to find my BC, I'm going to be taking my sine 105 on the other side. And if I take that on the other side, it's going to be divided. So 5.9473 is going to be divided with sine 105. So if I do that again, we got to check our calculator, make sure it's on degrees, and then 5.9473 divided by 100 and sine 105 gives me 6.157. Or perhaps I could just round it off to 6.2. So 6.2 becomes my length BC, which means that this length right here that I called it as y is now 6.2. Now that I have my lengths, all three lengths, that one is 10.1, the other one is 6.2, and another one is 13.1. Now that I got to find my perimeter, AB plus BC plus AC, let me just write that down in here. So 10.1 plus 13.1 plus 6.2 gives me something. Again, I gotta check that on my calculator. So 13.1, 10.1, 6.2, add them all together, it's 29.4. Apologies for so much mess. If there's any confusion, anything that you could not understand, you can just drop them down in the comment section below. And here was, I wrote it as centimeter, but because my 13.1 is in meters, that means this is also meters, 6.2 is also meters, and that also means that if my perimeter, if I add all of them up, then my perimeter is also 29.4 meters. So that is my final answer. And this particular question could probably be a 5 mark question because it involves a lot of solving. First of all, we're doing is that we're going to be figuring out that what's the perimeter of a triangle, it's sum of all sides. Secondly, I got to find my third angle. Once I have my third angle, before finding my third angle, I could just first find my one of my lengths, that's AB. I have my AB, then I find my third angle, and then again I use the sine rule and I find my third length. Once I have all three lengths, I add them up and I get my perimeter, and which is 29.4. So that's pretty much it. Hope you understood the question. And if you have any confusions, any questions, just drop them down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching Easy Learn. And do not forget to like, share, and subscribe my channel. Thank you so much, and see you until next time.